and welcome to this edition of Small Businesses, Big Opportunities. I am Hina Gambhir. Today we will talk about the new financing options that are available for small and medium enterprises in the country. Bangalore, the startup capital of India. An ideal place to ask what are the finance needs of micro, small and medium enterprises in India. The most comprehensive review of the finance needs of the MSME sector in India was done by IFC or the International Finance Corporation in 2012. According to the review, the total finance requirements of MSMEs is 32.5 trillion rupees. The debt demand is 26 trillion rupees and the equity demand is 6.5 trillion rupees. The IFC study establishes that the debt needs of the MSME sector are 5 times the equity needs. And that's the starting point of our exploration today. Let's examine the 26 trillion rupee number, which is the debt need of the MSME sector. 27% of it is funded by banks and NBFCs, an area that we explored on this series last week. 35% is ineligible for financing, and 38% is the unmet demand. And it is exactly this unmet demand that Capital Float, a young digital finance company, is targeting. Capital Float is an online platform that provides working capital finance to MSMEs in India. On the show today, Capital Float serves 2 purposes. First, it shows that MSMEs have debt options beyond the traditional banks and NBFCs as well. Second, the fundraising experience of Capital Float itself demonstrates the options that are available to startups in India today. So here we are right now in the corporate office of Capital Float in Bengaluru. I have with me Gaurav as well as Shashank, the founders of Capital Float, which is in the business of lending to those where banks clearly have said no or have shut the doors. Tell us firstly, what exactly do you do and how does it really help the small and medium enterprises today?
Sure. So we are an online lending platform focused on providing loans to small and medium enterprises across the country, right? I think our key focus is on providing fast, flexible and innovative credit products to SMEs that would typically struggle to get a loan from a bank and would struggle to get it in a timely and convenient manner. So our value to an SME is anywhere in India, they can come online to our website, they can apply. Within minutes, they can get a sense of what they're eligible for. And within anywhere from 24 hours to 3 days, get an approval, get the loan in their bank account and get back to business.
So for somebody who is looking to get a loan online, the person doesn't really have to go to the branches, it's all online.
Sure. So we are completely branchless, like you said, and why don't we just show you exactly what a bit of the process looks like. So he just goes on to the Capital Float website. You can see an apply now button, he clicks that, that takes him into a form, and he just has to fill this form, which is basically details of himself, his company, the promoters of the business, and then goes on to the next page where he can actually just upload a bunch of documents, and the entire process takes about 10 to max 15 minutes, and then we have a credit person who meets the customer, and within 24 hours or max 3 days he has a loan in his account.
Oh, lovely. Okay, so what's the average ticket size that you guys work around with, and what kind of disbursements have you seen so far? This company was started in 2013, so from then till now, how much has been the business?
So the average ticket size is around 10 to 12 lakhs, but we range from almost 1 lakh to about 1 crore. And in the last year and a half, we have dispersed a little over 200 crores to about 500 customers and growing almost 2x month on month.
All right, and what about bad loans? Because that's another big issue when it comes to lending. That's one of the key risks. So how do you manage to stay away from that?
You know, in our experience, we found that actually SMEs have some of the best repayment track records in the industry today. And a big part of this is that these loans are actually for productive purposes, right? So our loans are customized to meet exactly the need that the SME has. We have some of the most interesting terms in the industry in terms of flexibility, and the SME can pick and choose exactly what they need for how long they need it. The result of this is that SMEs typically end up taking just the right amount of debt that they need for the business, not less, not more. In addition to this, we also have a proprietary underwriting algorithm and platform that takes a 360-degree view of the SME's creditworthiness. So unlike traditional financial institutions that look at just like collateral, financial ratios and such metrics, we actually look at a much broader set of data, both on the business as well as on the entrepreneur and their plans and skills going forward.
So what kind of collateral do you really look forward to, or you expect, or is it all collateral free?
It's completely collateral free, and that's where the real demand is, right? When it comes to collateral based loans, I think banks have got that covered in many ways, but the demand, like I said, is in short term working capital where the SME typically does not have any collateral left to pledge.
And threat from the banks, the banking system, because now there is a lot of focus that's really coming through from the banking side as well. Banks are also focusing a lot on MSMEs and SMEs. So do you really see how would you make sure that you have that competitive edge with you as compared to the other financiers which are available in the market?
I think the unmet need in this sector is so vast. There is honestly space for a lot of players to play in, right? I think we are definitely, we're one of the early players to really pioneer a technology-driven approach. At the same time, this market is too large for any one player. Our edge is really the experience that we offer to the customer and the degree of customization that we allow an SME to have in their financing options.
How important is having the credit rating? How much does it help in your case?
I think that's the secret sauce of the business, right? That's really what we've tried to build over the last year and a half, and that's what keeps our NPS low. And the more we learn as we see more loans, I think that's going to get better, and that's going to ensure that our NPS stay low, and that's how we become profitable quickly.
Gaurav and Shashank were both at Stanford in the US for an MBA. At some point in their second year at Stanford, they decided to team up and come back to India. The catch was, come back, but do what?
I think we looked at over 30 ideas that we thought could be both disruptive, right, and have a large-scale impact in the country. There is literally someone working on almost any idea you can think of, both in the new age realm of tech and other such areas, as well as in traditional sectors. But what we realized is what all these entrepreneurs have in common, aside from their passion and drive, is a struggle to access financing. Right? It was a common story across everyone. And we had seen this in our previous careers. And that was really kind of that moment for us where we said, look, rather than focusing on one particular business, can we actually build a business that focuses on entrepreneurs and specifically around solving this access to financing problem for them?
Shashank poses an interesting question. If you live in a country where you can buy something on Flipkart, pay for it using a Paytm wallet, book a movie on Book My Show and catch an Ola to the movie hall, then why can't you get a business loan online? Gaurav offers some perspective.
We were the small fish in the pond and still are if you compare us to a lot of the large NBFCs, and I think what keeps us going every day is to see how do we really in many ways try to challenge their business, right? And that keeps us really motivated to make sure that we can actually challenge them in everything that they do. But I think what we forget in India is that there's a huge component of informal sort of money lending as well, which is probably twice the size of formal money lending by banks and NBFCs, right? And that's a sector that at some point we'd like to also sort of displace.
Capital Float says it gets a loan application every 10 minutes. 50% of these loan applications come from outside the top 3 cities. Today, Capital Float is lending in 40 cities, and the plan ahead is to hit 100 cities in the next few months. This rapid growth is only possible because of Capital Float's online model.
I think what technology does is a few things, but one, it really helps you to scale and scale much faster than a traditional business. And two, it allows you to bring a lot of efficiency that you would not be able to do in a traditional business.
Capital Float is just one example of the new financing options for the MSME debt. And with such vast unmet needs of the sector, there is still a lot of ground to be covered. However, some regulatory and institutional progress has been made, ranging from the Credit Information Bureau India Limited to the centralized collateral registry for India set up by the Finance Ministry. Also, SIDBI has promoted the India SME Asset Reconstruction Company. And on the equity front, the BSE and NSE have started the SME stock exchanges. On the show so far, we have looked at new age financing for MSME debt. What about the equity needs of the MSME sector? Catch the latest trends after the break. Small businesses, big opportunities. We'll be right back.